Can you guess which is the most famous purse in the world? The one that every woman in the world dreams about? You maybe guessed right. We're talking about Louis Vuitton. Whether you love fashion or not, you know what this brand stands for. This French fashion house is known for its class, designs, luxury, and grandeur. A Louis Vuitton handbag is not just any handbag. Ladies love their Louis Vuittons, and they know it. Everybody loves a sense of exclusivity, and what's more exclusive than a brand whose heritage and allure is based on elegance and robustness. These top-quality leather, boa, crocodile, lambskin, python skin, and camel skin handbags are not only waterproof, but it is said that they're fireproof too, although we don't encourage you to try to discover this last rumor. Recently, Louis Vuitton has been announced as the world's most valuable luxury brand, being worth around $50 billion. But do you ever wonder what makes Louis Vuitton the most famous purse in the world? How it was created or who created it? Because it has quite an interesting story involving Houdini, some type of king from Egypt, Coco Chanel, and Emperor Napoleon's wife. We're here to take you on an exclusive of the most famous and most desirable handbag in the world, Louis Vuitton. It all began in, you guessed it, Paris, the city of love, romantic dinners, and fashion, when it gave birth to this luxury retail store in 1854 in Rue Neuve des Capucines. But let us take you a little bit back into the spring of 1835, when Louis Vuitton left home on foot, bound for Paris. He traveled for more than 2 years, taking odd jobs to feed himself along the way and staying wherever he could find shelter. We gotta agree it takes nerves of steel to rule the world, and Louis Vuitton is not less than an inspiration. He was only 16 when he made a life-changing decision for himself and his family, that he would become a trunk master. It was 1837 when one bright day he finally arrived in Paris in the thick of an industrial revolution. This teenager was taken in as an apprentice in the workshop of a successful box maker and packer named Monsieur Marechal. In case you don't know that in 19th century Europe, box making and packing was a highly respectable and urbane craft. It was at a time when the city had yet to unfold as a fashion and design capital. Horse-drawn carriages, boats, and trains were the main modes of transportation, and baggage was handled roughly, so travelers called upon craftsmen to pack and protect their individual objects, as they used to carry all their essentials inside wardrobes and flat trunks, which unfortunately often attracted burglars. Master trunk maker Louis Vuitton sought to help his clients protect the goods inside their travel pieces, and then he revolutionized luggage locks with an ingenious closing system that turned travel trunks into real treasure chests, which is exactly how it feels to wear a Louis Vuitton bag. It feels like your own private treasure chest. It took Vuitton only a few years to make himself a reputation amongst Paris's fashionable class as one of the city's premier practitioners of his new craft. When Napoleon assumed the title of Emperor of the French, his wife hired Louis Vuitton as her personal box maker and packer. This provided a gateway for Vuitton to a class of elite and royal clientele who would seek his services for the duration of his life and far beyond. After several years of development, George patented his single lock system with 2 spring buckles and challenged Harry Houdini, the great American escape artist, in a public newspaper to escape from a Vuitton box and lock. Houdini didn't rise to the challenge. These were the roots of his highly specialized trade, the beginnings of his career in the artisanal industry that called upon skills to custom design boxes and later trunks according to clients' wishes. He stayed for 17 years before opening his own box making and packing workshop in Paris. The sign outside the shop read, "Securely packs the most fragile objects, specializing in packing fashions." And just after 4 years, this great businessman debuted an entirely new trunk. Instead of leather, it was made of gray canvas that was lighter, more durable, and more impervious to water and odors. However, the key selling point was that unlike all previous trunks, which were dome-shaped, Vuitton's trunks were rectangular, making them stackable and far more convenient for shipping via new means of transport, like the railroad and steamship. Most commentators consider Vuitton's trunk the birth of modern luggage. The success of Louis Vuitton led to the opening of his atelier in Asnières, a village outside Paris. Business was booming, and Vuitton received personal orders not only from French royalty, but also from Ismail Pasha. Wonder who he is? He was Khedive of Egypt. The workshop started with 20 employees, which increased to 225 only within 4 years. These are some of his most famous early bags. The Trianian canvas, a trunk in a beige and red striped canvas. Unfortunately, this design proved to be easily copied by competitors. To make it harder for counterfeiters, the Trianian canvas was updated to a beige and brown colorway and named Rayé canvas. Then Louis Vuitton went on to create the trademark, the damier canvas pattern, for its range of luggage and trunks. It was a checkered pattern and originally manufactured in a rare red and white checker and a brown and tan checker that is reminiscent of the typical LV color scheme today. The damier pattern is still in production on various Louis Vuitton pieces and in additional color pairings. Finally, a successful move in fighting the counterfeits was made by Georges Vuitton. He introduced the monogram canvas and patented it directly. The monogram is the iconic print with the LV logo, quatrefoils, and flowers, inspired by Japanese and Oriental designs from the Victorian era. Then came the steamer bag, a smaller piece designed to be kept inside the baggage trunks. It is also known as the tente-tout, hold-all, becoming one of the most iconic luggage designs. Then the smaller version of the keep-all got out, the Louis Vuitton Speedy Bag, which is an integral part of the Louis Vuitton story, as it was the first handbag that the brand created for everyday use and convenience. Later, the iconic actress Audrey Hepburn requested even a smaller version titled the Speedy 25. This is definitely a key moment in the history of Louis Vuitton. Many of Louis Vuitton's innovations were made in response to very fancy problems, and the Noe is chief among them. World's first bucket bag was designed to carry 5 bottles of champagne. The drawstring was made for holding the bottles and making sure the bottles wouldn't rattle around. Later on, there came a bag named Squire at first, Champs-Élysées second, and was finally given the name Alma. The name comes from Place de la Alma. It was actually designed way earlier in 1925. It was a custom-made bag for the one and only Coco Chanel. Many years later, Coco finally gave permission to give the bag to the general public. Then Papillon was launched, a cylindrical bag. This evergreen Louis Vuitton then introduced its first leather line in 1985 when Epi leather was created and became its first permanent collection of leather bags. The leather is dyed, printed with 3-dimensional wave pattern, and then painted with a color-matching top coating, which ensures the colors are vibrant and makes the leather very resistant to water and wear. 1987 saw the creation of LVMH, whose current CEO is Bernard Arnault. The company formed after the 1971 merger between the champagne producer Moet and Chandon and Hennessy, the cognac manufacturer. It merged respectively with Louis Vuitton to form the luxury goods conglomerate. Arnault's successful integration of various famous aspirational brands into a single group has inspired other luxury companies to do the same. Its current business plan aims to tightly control the brands it manages in order to maintain and heighten the perception of luxury relating to their products. For example, Louis Vuitton products are sold only through Louis Vuitton boutiques found in upmarket locations in wealthy cities or in concessions and other luxury goods shops. And who doesn't know Marc Jacob? When it comes to Vogue, he became the first creative director of the company, and in 2001, he brought in the world-famous artist Steven Sprouse to create a limited edition line of graffiti-embellished LV monogram bags. Later, Louis Vuitton created the Neverfull bag as a larger tote style, able to carry all of a modern woman's essentials. It has become the all-time best-selling bag of the house. In 2013, Nicolas Gosquier replaced Jacobs as the creative director and introduced the Capucine bag, which has a vintage boxy shape, and the side angles out like a trapezoid, giving it a modern touch. He then introduced the Petite Malle, a quirky clutch-like bag. The Petite Malle definitely breathes new life into the heritage of the house. Nothing sounds sufficient when you are talking about the world's most famous and desirable bag. So watch the next episodes in this 3-episode series to know what happened next. To watch the evolution of the Louis Vuitton brand, their products, how they are made, their new growth strategy, and to see the rise of Bernard Arnault, the business titan behind the LVMH conglomerate. Remember to subscribe to our channel to be notified when new episodes are out. See you in the next episode.